Thank you. Well, it's a great honor to be here tonight. I feel very respected. I would like to thank two people initially, Lumbar Zagraja and Gresa Satovci, for inviting me to be here, and also the whole TEDx team who actually agreed to have me here. So thank you guys. I think that they are doing something truly fantastic here, by creating this platform to bring in people with thoughts and ideas that will no doubt help Pristina and Kosovo and all its people to push forward. And I would call them truly unique bunch, wouldn't you? I think that each one of us here is unique. I think each one of us has a unique consciousness imprint in our minds. Each one of us has something unique to show to the rest of the world. And today I would like to talk about building confidence as basis for innovation. So if we have the confidence to dive deep within ourselves and bring that unique self, unique depth out and show it to the rest of the world, chances are that it will be original, it will be extraordinary, and it will no doubt be unique. So I believe that it is very important that we build that confidence to dive deep within ourselves, because that's where innovation comes from. That's where creativity comes from. So just the act that gives us this confidence to present our own thoughts and ideas is a liberating and progressive act. And in a way, when I talk about confidence, I don't talk about confidence as arrogance. So I don't talk about confidence as walking inside the room with your nose up and looking down on others. I talk about confidence in a way that you walk inside the room and you don't judge yourself against others. You don't look down on others. You actually open your mind and you feel. You feel the environment, you hear them, and then you give your true feeling and thoughts back. Because I believe that the world is a mirror of our consciousness. Whatever feedback we give out, that sort of feedback we get back. So in a way, if we are projecting a fake feedback out, we get fake feedback back. So the world becomes our enemy in terms of energy feedback. So it feeds us with this information which we don't understand, because we're trying to be someone else, someone who we don't really understand, and someone who we are not. So if we project true signals out, in return, we receive true feedback. And the world becomes our friend. It feeds us with energy. It feeds us with this information from which we can build from directly. So to be true, therefore, is to be confident. And to be true is to know ourselves. And to know ourselves is to know our surroundings. And to know ourselves, so it's to know our cities. As children, I believe that we have this. We are born with this sort of confidence to present our true self. But somehow, while growing up, we lose it. I don't know whether it's educational system, our environment, but we somehow lose it. In a workshop which we did in 2005 with children of Pristina about the city of Pristina, we asked them a simple question. How do you see the city today, which was 2005, and how do you see it in 2020? And we asked them to draw it up, so it was quite simple. They said, well, today we have ping pong tables without nets, we have swings without seats, we have basketball baskets without baskets, basically, and so on. So what we want in 2020, we want exactly the same things, but we want them functional. So it was quite a straightforward reply. So we somehow lose this as we grow. So diving deep within ourselves and getting to know ourselves truly, and build up from there, in a way, it's kind of a process, the same process of building our cities. So we need to dive deep within the structures of our cities in order to understand our cities, in order to build. So this is sort of a representation of this sort of, that the depths support the surface. So at a city level, we do this, or we can do this through these various organs which we build as a society. Organs like Ministry of Spatial Planning, historical museums, ethnological museums, and so on. And in a way, so a city is kind of a representation of our social consciousness. Our cities tell stories about ourselves, about our history. They tell about our truths and lies, and they talk about our abilities to change, and also about our consciousness and subconscious as a society. So I wonder, what does our city tell us today? At some point, I think that after the war, a huge amount of energy kind of emerged and hit the structures of local governance and police, and somehow these structures were incapable to deal with this vast amount of energy, so they collapsed. And I think that the structure that kind of remained in this sort of structure, which comes from antiquated Albanian law called Kanun of Lekdugajin, which we inherited 5 centuries ago, which in terms of urban regulating plan, it has really no limitations. So as long as you build within your own land, within your own plot, you can do whatever you want. And as a result, we have somehow mass destruction of public place and of private place as well, private spaces. So even though Kanun has boundaries, it has no sophistication to deal with 21st century urban requirements that we all need. But nonetheless, it did create some boundaries. So it makes me wonder how far us as a society, we would have pushed these boundaries if we could, if we didn't fall into that. Or did we actually, in essence, push anything? I believe that maybe we fell, and this is what saved us going even further and beyond. So in nature also, you have these laws of nature, which, according to them, all sorts of different structures emerge based on these sort of nature laws. And also in societies, structures emerge based on the systems, based on these codes, these laws that we develop, the one that we developed 5 centuries ago, Kanun, or the new ones that we are trying to develop now. So in a way, it is kind of all about falling. It's not really about building, it's about falling. So we need to create these structures that, help us fall into these sort of happy, functional systems, functional sort of realities, rather than the negative ones. So this is why, as a society, we need to question our boundaries. We need to question our structures at a social level, but we also need to question our structures within our own self, because that's where everything starts. Because city and people are enmeshed. I think that city and people, we make one another. So we continuously impact one another. And if city and people impact one another, then whatever we sort of give to the city, we get back. And in a way, every one of us can help make a change. So every one of us can give something unique and something important to the city, to the urban fabric. And it is, in a way, in everyone's benefit to do so, because our brain plus our city, so the environment, create our mind. So our mind is not internal to us. It is actually a sort of an equation between our brain and the environment outside and the city. So if you give the city respect, it will make you proud. So what is my role? I question, what is my role in the city? What are my opportunities? What can I do? So I took this sort of process as basis to design a jazz bar here in Pristina. So the existing conditions of this subterranean space in Pristina, where Hammam Jazz Bar now lives, was in a way a representation of the city of Pristina itself. It was kind of used and abused, and whoever passed by it kind of threw a layer upon layer of material, a paint upon paint and so on, and it was sort of, nobody actually took time to kind of feel the space, you know, hear the space, kind of see if it has anything to say. It was basically, it seemed like it was a raped space in the basement of this 14-story building. And I wonder that this is sort of reminiscent of everything that we've done in Pristina after the war. And I wonder, you know, why? Why have we done this? And I think that partly it's a lot with confidence, with lack of confidence. We didn't believe in the future. We didn't believe in our structures, in our systems. And we also did not have mechanisms to actually understand our past. We say we do, but look at our city. It tells us otherwise. So while designing Hammam Jazz, we decided to develop this code and stick to it. And the code was to kind of made everything with recycled, eco-conscious materials, which was made 100% in Kosovo. Moreover, we also wanted to sort of attempt to build confidence in locals and to show them that it is possible to actually create something worthwhile and innovative without having to import any exotic commodities. And also to aid the post-war economy, we wanted to use, or we decided to use, only local people, local consultants and local workers, you know, and contractors who worked very hard to create this sort of raw and refined space. Many workers here from Kosovo were involved, so and 8 months of labor was sort of engraved in these walls of this 240 square meter subterranean space. And we used our offices in London to kind of do experiments because initially we had a lot of issues in terms of, you know, design-wise, we were kind of quite confident that we're going to achieve and do something interesting, but in terms of sound echo, we had a real problem. The sound and the concrete building, they don't work well together, so you get these echoes. And also, we couldn't cushion the sound to sort of protect the neighbors. So how do you develop something? How do you develop a material which has these properties, but it is also made in Kosovo? So in London, we did a lot of experiments, used a lot of materials, and you know, we used mud, and we realized that mud actually wrapped mud and sort of straw, created a structure. We created these panels, and we realized that they did have this, these properties of sound cushioning, of the echoes. So 15 local workers in Kosovo were then used to create hundreds of these mud panels. The team of construction people, you know, initially they looked at me, they were like, njeri, a je tranu. Po don me shti lëq mbrana, apo ta mërmena që i komentar dikush në shtëpi, këtu në jazz bar. So we made them anyway. So mud panels were suspended from the ceiling here, as you can see. And they settled at a height allowed by these cables that we positioned, you know, to actually suspend these mud panels. And multiplied in hundreds, these mud panels created a kind of a system which in relation to the sound, when we played the sound waves, when they hit these panels, they moved ever so slightly, and they created this sort of very nice acoustic cushion. So they buffered the echo, and they also helped sort of cushion the sound for the neighbors above. So other aspects of design as well, which we used locally, were these massive metal doors, which we buried underneath the earth to reveal these nice patina of golden-looking colors. And also the big oak doors, which were all built near Lake Batlava. So they were all made in Kosovo by local lumberjacks. So we wanted to create something that would emotionally and physically affect people. So the materials and patterns of furniture also, they were built here in Kosovo. And during our design stage, so we took our time to hear the space, to feel the space. We engaged with it and we tried to understand the space. And we sort of started exfoliating these damaging layers and bring back the original state and finally start the healing process. Now, I talk about this space as talking about curing a sick person. You know, I talk about it that way because I truly believe in it. I believe that a sick space will make people sick, and a happy space, an inspired space, inspiring space will inspire people because we're enmeshed. So every space has to be treated with respect. It has to be treated with this sort of level of seriousness. So we decided to go back to stay true to our code that we developed, to the core. What kind of materials are authentic to Kosovo? What can we use? And the palette was mud, straw, concrete, and wood. So we started, so the functioning of this place, you know, worked beautifully, and moreover, we had something new to show. You know, we had these materials that actually had another, they were local, they were traditional, and they had another kind of innovation to show. And although met with skepticism initially, you know, from critics, Hammam Jazz now serves as a local hotspot. And with its mere presence alone, it has catalyzed creativity and encouraged other architects and artists in Kosovo and Balkans to think outside of the box and for the good of their community. So the Jazz Club, in a way, it's a small example of successfully developed award-winning product. Now our city has a jazz bar which last year, 28th of November, competed against hundreds of other bars around the world, from Tokyo, from Japan, Paris and Shanghai and so on, and Pristina won. So it serves now as a beacon of confidence. So if you dare to be true, if you dare to be real and bring that truth and real thing out of what you believe, of who you are, chances are that it will be original, it will be extraordinary, and it will be unique. So it does not matter what it is. In my case, it was mud and straw and concrete and wood. In your case, it may be anything else. It doesn't matter. It will be yours. It will be unique to you, your feeling, your thought. So Hammam, in a way, is a call for unique reflection in the beginning of new era in Pristina architecture. So let yourself shine through, and your city will thank you for it. Your city will make you proud. Be true to who you are. Dua Pristina. Faleminderit.